So, did a new brake line. Started on some exhaust. Alright, there she is, all loaded up, ready to go to the shop to get welded up. A couple more trips to get it all there, but at least it's a start. Let me tell you, trailer with no ramps, one dude by himself, Model A on the trailer, not easy. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do here is pick up the body and I'm going to set it on these pallets so I can move it around separate, and we'll start some work on the chassis here. Okay, so now that's there, it should allow me to move it around and some stuff while I work on the chassis here. Okay, so first order of business is we're going to cut these perches off here, and then we're going to strip these wishbones out and that transmission cross member, the old transmission. Basically we'll take all the running gear off except these perches, which is going to hold the spring. Okay, we got the spring perches hacked off on both sides. We'll move up to this cross member and transmission and get it out of the way. Okay, so we got the transmission and the wishbones and the rear end stripped out, and because the back half of this frame has no cracks and stuff in it, but this front half has a crack up here, so what we're going to do is we're going to slice this off here, and then we're going to use the front of this frame but Z'd on top of it. But this cross member here, you can see how it's been welded kind of boogerish by some old farmer. We're going to take the cross member out of that one and put it in here. So all we really need is 2 rails off of this. And once we do the Z and everything, we're going to get some metal to box it, but because I'm poor, that might take some time. Okay, so now what we have here is 6 inches past this cab, or the front of the cab mount here. We have 6 inches. So that's where our frame will overlap. It'll come up like this at a Z motion. But now we have to figure out this over here. So we'll take a measurement from here all the way back about the length of a small block Chevy, and then we'll add 6 inches onto it here and then cut it at a 45. And then that way our motor will sit in here without interfering on the firewall. Okay, so now what I did is I took from corner to corner, from corner to corner, measured it all out, made sure everything's level, everything's true. Got this weld sitting plumbed, got my marks where I want it to be, and now I'm going to burn it together. Okay, now that you got a nice row of dimes in there, you can see good nice heat penetration, no undercut or anything like that. You're going to want to do a box on this, but we don't quite have the steel for that yet. We'll move on to getting the frame rolling. I think we'll start with the rear end, and we'll take her from there. Okay, so now we got some 52 Merc axles for the rear end here. I know I said I was going to put a quick change in it, but this is cheap, and I have a quick change, but the rims are like $350 a piece, so this will do for now. We'll cut these U-bolts off and we'll get rid of the spring perches on each side. Alright, so now we got the spring perches sauced onto there. We can start with the parallel 4-link. Okay, so we got the perches welded on and the supports at the rear end measured out. Same thing, you just keep measuring crossways, make sure everything's good and lined up. Perches all welded, and that's your rear end minus the shock mounts, but we'll do a little bit more fabricating before we get those in place. So this is the front end I'm going to be using. Same thing. Let's just prep it. We'll cut off all the springs and everything and get her ready to rock. Okay, so we got our leaf mounted on here. And then my plan is to section this just to keep this original mount because it's the same size. And then what I'm going to do is build a plate on here. I'm going to set that mount on there, and then your parallel 4 link, one bar is going to come here, and then one bar is going to come underneath. So a little bit of fabricating to do, but we're getting there. Okay, so the perches are kind of done, and now I got to do the 4-link. But yeah, it took a lot of modifying, some good welding and stuff like that, but she's on there. So this is where we're going to stop today because we are out of gas. All right, so that's as far as we got today. We'll finish the front suspension maybe next weekend, but yeah, gives you an idea of the kind of the rake that it sits. Yeah, that'll be pretty good. All right, stay tuned. Blah, blah, blah.